It's day 2 in Aska, and there is quite a lot going on. I need to get more villager, buildings, and maybe some gear upgrades as well. Spring is also ending in 3 days. First, however, I enjoy eating some mussels that I had collected along the shoreline. They end up being my food for a little while. Off camera, I did end up getting some further terraforming done. In some areas, I've hit trees I don't have a high enough tier axe to chop down. Others I'll need to do the terrain trick of getting anything further since there is quite a limit on hay different. A rather important thing to start getting up are the 3 main gathering buildings. One for stone, wood, and food gathering. While some of these end up being more useful than others, at least having some villagers to work in them, soon picking stuff up off the ground and placing them into each building's different storage containers, will make my job a little easier on expanding things out. Seems kind of silly to need to go collect sticks on the beach. It's, however, still quite an early game, and you just need to do what you need. At least early into Ask, the summing time for a villager is rather short. In the short term, I'm just looking to acquire 1 per day. I feel that is a decent rate, at least for a little while. I have gone out a few times collecting more bloodstones. One thing I kind of never do enough is micromanage the demand priority level of different resources. It's a shame the NPCs are not a bit smarter than they are. At least there is the option to do so. Level out enough of an area to put down a bigger building. One thing I want early is the workshop so I can unlock some better tools. Another thing is I want some bigger housing to hold a few villagers in. The single villager huts are not going to cut it for long. While it takes up quite a lot of room and resources, this will give me some breathing room to focus on other, more important things once that building is up. It's kind of funny, even the basics of food. I have to try and min/max my efforts in terms of when I should spend some time gathering any. Along with just ignoring it till the last possible moment, that I have to stop doing everything else to get some. Along the way, I'm gathering most of anything I see. There are still things like blood shards I'll mostly go out of my way to collect if I see them. Having just 3 villagers right now is not doing a lot more for us. At least being down on the beach to get more food gives me chances to collect other needed resources. It seems I can just never have enough material for making rope or even basic clothing. Even far later on when I get around to having a farm, it's still never enough. Speaking of early game things to deal with, it's, however, a bit of an issue for me if they make a mess of my campsite. While there is not much for them to take off with, it's still a setback I'm not looking forward to. It will be a bit before I have the time and resources to devote to having a fence to deal with them in the future. Thankfully, they did not seem to do much. Hopefully I'll now get a couple of days of not having to deal with any threats. It would be nice to have a villager at the workshop doing some work. It's at least nice that you can do it yourself. Since I don't want to waste any bark making it fiber, I end up just dumping it on the ground for the time being. I'll let someone else clean up the mess long before it rots. For once, the villagers were not being lazy. If I need them to clear a forest, they will just act as if they can't. If I do all the hard work for them, suddenly they have no issues picking everything up. I am quite excited to have some better tools this early on. While it would be nice to go get some metal out of the cave, all of that is quite a massive process to smelt, forge, and get upgrades, that I'll have to hold off on that idea for the time being. For now, I'll just keep summoning more villagers and gathering any resource I can get my hands on. It was another successful day in Aska. We defeat those ugly-looking bunny things, and no one has gotten taken out yet by the nearby Draugr or wolf camps.